You guys, today is my birthday. It is also Pride Month, so hello, all my girls, gays, and theys, and everybody in between. We see you, we love you with all of our hearts. Oh, today we're going to be talking about my two favorite gays in our doll family here, which would be Cole and Kai. We are also going to briefly talk about this little rebirth I'm going through with my channel, but mostly it's going to be about my favorite gays right over there. Um yeah. Oh, I'm so excited. I don't have too much time to film this because I should be going to sleep so that I can wake up and we can party later tonight, but that's besides the point. I really wanted to get this out because I really wanted this. I wanted the last video that we did to be posted on my birthday to mark the rebirth of this channel. I thought it was going to be very sentimental, and I'm a very sentimental person, you know? But I had to post it when I did because as I was uploading it, I already was debating whether or not to just cancel and delete it. And I knew if I waited until Saturday that I'd end up not doing anything. So today is going to be our official rebirth. Today is going to be the mark of a new journey for me here on my channel. Something that I had this like a little epiphany of today was that I'm not creative anymore. I'm not expressive anymore. Everything is so consumer based. And through some quick reflection, I can see where that came from. And like it's not really going anywhere anytime soon. So I'm trying to push myself to be creative, to take this time in this new chapter of this channel to really push my limits and not hold myself to such a perfectionist standpoint per se. So like in hindsight, not having my computer to edit may be the best thing for me because I spend a lot of time through editing, and if it's not right, then I end up not liking it, and then I post it and I'm unhappy with it. But when I just film and post, there's like I feel more proud of that, even though there's no editing and it looks crappy, like crappy, and all this stuff. But I think the best thing for me to come back to as creative as I am, or as I was, I should say, is to not put so much pressure on me. So, unediting videos are going to be what's going to be posted, and learning how to talk in front of the camera is going to be something I have to learn because I'm not going to be editing out all of those like moments. I feel like I was going to say something else along those lines. I do want to do a lot more creative projects, which one of the things I realized I do is not start a project because I'm afraid of how it will turn out. I'm not doing that anymore. We're starting these projects. In fact, the next video, I'm lying because the next video you see, I need to slow down. The next video you see will be our summer BJD tag. If you remember me doing that either last year or the year before, we're going to be doing that next week. But the next video, I'm going to be starting actually going through with projects and being creative and not limiting myself because I don't have a vision. Like I'm just going to do it, right? And I think in that one I'll talk more about like how I got there and my feelings and everything because I really don't want to talk about it here. I really want to talk about my boys. But with that being said, today marks a new chapter for us. I'm excited. I'm excited to take the chains off. You know what I mean? So, to avoid chatting your ear off more than I have already, let's talk about these boys already. Oh my gosh. So we have Cole. Just kidding. We have Kai. And we have Cole. And yes, I grabbed them by their head. Just don't freak out. It's okay. So, you can stand there, right? I'm pretty sure he can stand. This is Cole. We got him last year. Really excited to have him home. And this is Kai. If you're a returning friend, you might have remember seeing his face a couple of times. I need to set him up. They are best friends. and ex-boyfriends. Yes, they are no longer dating. If again you're a returning friend, you may know a little bit of their story. I don't have a set story for them. They are characters with kind of a story around them. And unlike Julian and Salem, who I'm actually building a story, they're just characters that I love having around. So I don't even know where to start here. Cole does not have a backstory per se, not because he just doesn't have one, but I have not worked on it yet. Kai does have a more fleshed out backstory that I had posted once upon a time, but I don't think I'll repost that one, honestly. TLDR, he grew up taking care of his sister while his parents had disappeared. And when he got older, they ended up reappearing. And what had happened was they were taken by the government to build different, not weapons, but different technology for the high tech city. And they were able to escape. They reignited with him and everything, what have you. It's like a really in-depth backstory that I am proud of, though to be honest, these two are based off characters from a cartoon show. Yeah, so I've taken some of his backstory from that show and just added a little bit of a twist to make sense for this more modern, not ninjas with elemental powers story. So that did change just a little bit. Cole, I haven't worked on his story quite yet. I do know that his mother is no longer with him. She passed away from a sickness. I don't know what sickness. In the show, they kind of, I don't think they ever say what she passed away from, but it's just him and his dad. His dad is in a acapella group and doesn't really he has a lot of fun with life, the dad, right? So Cole had to mature a lot earlier than most kids at his age. And that's why he's more of the mature one out of the two of them. Let's see, what else can I say about their backstory? I'm kind of like rushing their backstory because, like, though it's important, it's kind of not, well, no, it's important, but I really don't care to share that right now. What I want to share is their story of them together because, oh my goodness, excuse me, I have to burp. So back when we first brought these two home, the idea of the story for them was that Kai was starting to have feelings for his best friend that he was not ready to admit because he never in his life thought that he would be bisexual. He always saw himself as the ladies' man, the straight guy, and the tough boy, um, until he started to have feelings for his best friend. And he had to deal with exploring that side of his sexuality with his best friend. Though, so when we last talked, they were a thing. They were definitely a thing. But since then, the new series, they have introduced a character that they heavily hint at having something going on with him and Cole. And it's never, I don't think it's ever canonically confirmed, but like it's very more than friends kind of vibe. And I didn't know how to feel about that because I don't really follow ships or anything. I'm not one to be like, oh, I ship this person and this person until they came along, right? So I don't know what happens when a new ship comes in that's kind of a little bit better than the one that's was going on, but you're like loyal, so you want to hold on to the one that was before, but the one now kind of makes a little bit more sense and like you're on board with it a little bit more. I don't know how to feel. I don't know how to feel, you guys. But with that being said, I decided a few days ago that actually it might make sense to bring that into this story here. So I have it where they break up. they were together, they were exploring, you know, that side of Kai. But I feel like after a while, it wasn't really helping him explore his sexuality because that's his best friend. So there are things that he might not feel comfortable exploring with him, despite them being very close. I feel like there's still this line of like, no, you're my friend kind of thing, right? So I feel like it. Is there somebody coming in, Steven? Nope. Okay. I feel like it would make sense if they end up breaking up. They are still best friends. They still care about each other. They're still best pals. But I think what it was like a mutual agreement that it was probably best for Kai to explore that side of him with somebody else, that he would feel comfortable to kind of push the limits a little bit. Because like with best friends, there's this thing in his head, or I feel like there's this thing in his head in Kai's, that it was like, I can't push the limit because what if that messes things up with our friendship, right? So I feel like it's kind of a mutual thing. You might hear my lizard's little humidifier again. But I feel like it's more of a mutual thing between them of breaking up and Kai exploring himself with somebody else. He doesn't have a somebody else, but that's like where he is right now. Whereas Cole might have a new boyfriend, not like a new boyfriend, but a new love interest. I don't know how to feel about that, but that's kind of their little drama going on. They're very much a K-drama-esque kind of feel going on, slice of life, you know, that kind of stuff. So like I said, they don't really have a story. I have so much of their character in mind. Like, for example, both of them are roommates. They live together in a penthouse with another character that owns a karaoke bar. Cole works at that karaoke bar as a chef. Canonically in the show, he's a terrible cook, but I feel like in this universe, he was a terrible cook, but he loves cooking so much, or he loves food so much, so he started to improve his cooking, and now he's a cook at the, what did I just say, karaoke bar. Kai, at first I had him working at a skate shop, and he designed images, not images, but like artwork that goes on the board. I can't remember the name of the board right now, but the deck, I think that's like the art part of the skateboard is the deck, I think, but he does designs for those. That was originally the plan, but Steven had this really good idea because I want to make a diorama, but I didn't know what I wanted to make the diorama for. If I wanted to do a bedroom but not have the bed, so then it kind of almost looks like an office, maybe like it's a little bit harder to give that bedroom feel, but it would very much be very personalized to these two characters. Like you'd see it and be like, yeah, Cole and Kai live there, right? Or I could do a living room, which would be less personalized to the characters, but then easier to pull off because it's easier to make something look like a living room versus with the bedroom, you kind of have to have a bed to get that feel kind of thing. And then the last idea was like some type of place. So I could do like the karaoke bar, I could do the arcade, or what have you. And Steven had the idea of doing a convenience store. Or convenience store. I don't know how. Convenient or convenience. I don't know. But he had that idea and it was super random. I don't know where that idea came from, but I loved it so freaking much because I love miniature food. And I think maybe that's one of the reasons it came to mind, because I did tell him I really, really like miniature food. But it's very random, but I feel like it could work very well. And with that idea that he had given me, basically, I thought maybe it would be not better, but like Kai working at the convenience store while trying to be an independent artist on the side has more depth to him than him just working at the skate shop and making the boards. Like, I don't know if that's just in my head or if, I don't know, but I feel like it's more there's more depth to his character having him work at the convenience store but doing art on the side. I don't know, but that's where we're at with Kai. It's not set in stone. I haven't pressed the this is exactly the right thing button yet, but I really think that that's where we're going to go with Kai there. So that's their occupation, that's where they live. What else? That's their relationship. I think that's pretty much it with them. Next week we will be doing or not next week, sorry. No, next week. Okay, I'm getting confused. Next week we will have the summer BJD tag, which I had come up with some prompts that kind of answered questions about the characters that kind of tell you a little bit more about them. So for example, they're at the pool. What are they doing? Kind of thing. And one person is doing this while the other person is doing this. That kind of tells you more about their character, right? I'm kind of vague because I don't remember everything I put on it, and I'm sorry if you started shaking. Terrorizer just decided to jump on the bed for whatever reason. Well, not for whatever reason. He wants to get comfy. But we'll be doing that next week, and I think that I'm going to be adding the one that I did before at the end of it. If you missed my video from my last video, I did talk about slowly re-uploading the videos that I still have on my flash drive, but not individually. I think I'm doing like compilations or like movies or whatever. So just throwing some in there can help me put that content back, because I did work really hard on it and I'm kind of kicking myself in the butt for deleting it, but that is not the point. You can see the summer BJD tag that talks about these two in that video, okay? Or hopefully, if I don't wait last minute to film and then I can't edit it on the computer, on Steven's computer. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the boys and their story. I do have some other side characters. Kai has a sister who is actually married to Jay, which is also in the friend group here. He has a love interest, Cole. Kai used to have a love interest, right? There's this girl named Skylar that he had the hugest crush on. And I think at the end of that BJD tag, I do have a snippet of a story with him and Skylar. She's still very much a part of the story. I don't know where their relationship is going to end up, if they're going to start dating, because at the time he started liking Cole, she was finally ready for a relationship with him, so it was kind of like tense. So maybe they start dating. I don't know, because that's a slippery slope of him then leaving her again for another person, which would most likely be a guy to explore his sexuality, so then she would be damned twice, right? So I don't know if we're gonna go down that route, but yeah, oh my gosh, I'm so glad to be talking about them again. Their story is developing. I kind of, in hindsight, love the fact that there's a new love interest. I don't know how to feel about it, but at the same time, I kind of love it, because it kind of forced me to expand on them other than they're just dating. You know what I mean? And I think it makes sense. You let me know below how you feel about it, because their story, I talked about this once upon a time, if anybody remembers, but their story kind of has Heartstopper, I think is what it's called, vibes, where this guy is nice to another guy and then ends up having feelings for him and realizes he might be bi and not just straight. That's very much the vibe that was going on between these two, right? I've seen the first season. I think there's a second season and a movie, or maybe it's just a movie, or maybe it's just the second season. I don't know, but I have not watched past the first season, so I don't know what happens with their relationship, and if they end up breaking up for a similar reason. That would be so funny. That would be so freaking hilarious. But I don't think, I feel like it wouldn't go that way, because they weren't best friends before. They were best friends for years, like since they were I think 9 years old at the youngest. So they've been friends for more than a decade, best friends for more than a decade. So I can see how it would be really weird for Kai to try to explore that with him. But let me know below what you think about that change. I'm pretty satisfied with it. I think it gives a little bit more drama. Maybe they do end up together once he's, explores that side of him with other people. Maybe then he is ready to do that with his best friend. Who knows? I don't. But I wanted to share that. I wanted to share my 2 favorite boys on my birthday and my 2 favorite gays for Pride Month. Let me know what you think about these characters and their story. If you have any LGBTQ plus characters or dolls specifically, because this is, a doll channel, let us know their story down below. I would love to hear that. I would love to see pictures on Instagram. You can always follow me on Instagram, which is in the description below, because I forgot my tag. I think it's the witch's hair with the dot witch's hair. No, the witch's dot hair, I think. I don't know. But that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for sticking around and having a little bit of a chit chat with me. I hope you blossom in all of your endeavors. Excuse me. Happy Pride, and until next time, bye.